Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the President Harry III ASC CB radio. We will be testing the power output and showing you how to increase it up to the legal maximum. This radio can also be modified, well, to a limited extent, by switching it into the 120 channel mode. This also increases the output wattage in FM, but you lose the ability to switch to the 40 channel UK FM block using the mode switch. Before we start opening up the radio and twiddling with its giblets, I must point out that doing so is at your own risk. I am doing this so you don't have to. You will have legal obligations in your region with regards to radio transmissions, licensing and power outputs. You should always ensure that you are not causing a nuisance and, more importantly, not causing radio interference, as this will result in the Radio Hawaii 50, that's Ofcom or the FCC, hunting you down and locking you up in a cell with your new best friend, Philippe. Expanding a radio may increase its power or frequency range outside of what is legally allowed with or without a license, so please check. I purchased this radio with my own money. No one has editorial input over the content. All views and opinions are my own. I purchased this and many other radios from Knights Electrocom, the finest purveyor of CB radio equipment in the land. Whatever your CB radio needs, call Doug and his team who will help you out. They are the radio experts, so if you want a radio expanding and don't feel comfortable doing it yourself, then ask them. There might be a small fee to do so, but you will know that it's been done properly. The President Electronics Group originated in the USA and have been around since 1978. They do have a large presence in Europe with a head office located in France. They make excellent high-quality radios, all of which follow a naming convention. Every radio is named after a US president, and this radio is named after Harry Truman, the 33rd US President. I am very much looking forward to seeing what the Trump radio will look like. Maybe it will be large and orange with absolutely no filter. Time will tell. Well, without further ado, let's crack on with unboxing the Harry. So here we have the President Harry III CB radio. This is a 12 and 24 volt radio. It can be run off either, so 12 volt for your standard vehicle and 24 volt for the trucks that run 24 volt systems. This has the automatic squelch control. In the UK, this is just known as President Harry III radio, but I have seen it referred to as the President Harry III ASC, and ASC just means automatic squelch control, of which this is the 3rd generation. So this supports all of the European norms, so that will be CEPT, FM and FM UK, etc., the standard President sort of radio bands that are supported throughout Europe. One thing I do like about this radio is it has the channel selection dial. A lot of the cheaper radios are now using up and down buttons on the face of the radio to change the channel, and I definitely prefer having a dial. Although the radio does have on the standard DNC 520 microphone that has the up-down on it, you can also change via the buttons. So let's have a quick look around the box. So on the side here, the only extra thing we can see is the MURATA inside logo, which means that it's using an MURATA ceramic filter inside. I don't know how much of a difference that makes over the previous filters that President were using. It may be a marketing gimmick, but in the past the more expensive radios used to have ceramic MURATA filters, but this one has one, so a nice addition. Looking round the rest of the box here, there's not a great deal of additional information, although on the bottom here there is the usual stencil of the radio, and this shows that it's an SO239 standard connector, the Vox microphone input. We have an external speaker, which you're going to need if you're going to mount this in the dashboard, in a DIN hole in the dashboard. They do a mounting bracket that you can buy, but you'll need to put an external speaker in, because the speaker is downward firing from the underside of the radio. It has a fixed power cable. It is not using the sort of more modern three-pin plug that you can push in the back of a radio, which is a bit of a shame, but no great loss there. So that is the box for the President Harry III. Right, let's open this up. We have not opened this radio before, so this is the first time that we'll be seeing it. So there we have the radio and manual, and I think I may have to open it from the other end to get the accessory package out. Okay, there we have it. Okay, let's have a quick look in the accessory package. I imagine this will be relatively standard. So this is indeed the standard DNC 520 up-down microphone. These are really good microphones, but they feel cheap. They really do, really sort of light and very plasticky. President really should either weight these or put some sort of metal grill on them or something, because you know, they work really well, but they do just feel cheap. But they come with all of the President radios that we've had so far. So looking in the rest of the accessory box, we get the standard nut screws, if you like, for the mounting bracket, and the microphone holder. So let's just put that to one side and have a look at the radio package. So we'll do the manual first. Very small sticker. So let's have a little peek at that. Okay, so we have the usual President sticker. We had a radio the other day, I think it may have been the McKinley, and the sticker was ginormous, but this is a rather modest sticker, but a sticker nonetheless. And then we have the Harry III user manual in multiple languages, and first of all we have it in French. And then Spanish. We won't do any more of the music, we've done that before. Then we have English, and the last language is Polish. So the usual standard user manual that you get with a President radio. Okay, moving on to the radio itself. Let's have a look inside here. So that is all packaging. Let's get rid of that. We have the power cable and the radio. It is a very small radio compared to, say, the President Richard. And if you just give me one moment, I shall grab my Richard. Wait a moment. And there is the. I missed it. I definitely missed that. I could have got a gag in there, but I'm resisting grabbing my Richard. Okay, here we go. So that's the President Richard for a size comparison to the President Harry III. It is a very small little radio, and you can see there. Now, we do not have on the back of the Harry any form of heatsink, which we do on the other radios. But this radio will output a significantly higher wattage than the President Harry, so no surprise there. And just so you don't think that this is an exclusively President radio review, we have here a nice old Midland 220, and you can have a size comparison to the 220 there. Even the old 220 has a tiny little heatsink on the back. Okay, so we'll have a little scoot round the radio while we're here. So we will remove this. Very satisfying. So on the front of the radio here, we have the on-off and volume, and then the rear side of this button is the automatic squelch control. So squelch in the lowest position is ASC, and the radio will handle the squelch for you. And then if you turn the rear dial up, it will then break the squelch and then increase the squelch as that increases. 6-pin microphone. Various buttons which we'll run through when we fire this up, and we'll do a wattage test to see what the wattage is outputting. There's an RF gain at the top, and we have the channel selector here on a dial, which is much preferable to buttons. So the radio does have a noise blanker high cut feature. It has a Roger beep, yes, because us ham radio guys, we love a Roger beep. I can't wait to turn that on. Yes, that's and the F key, which is the important one for setting the radio mode when you start the radio up. So we are going to have to connect this up to our linear power supply, which I'll do off camera, and then we'll be back and we'll do a power output test. Okay, we're back. Now let me just talk you through what we're doing here. So the power cable here is now connected to our linear power supply. It's an LM30. So we have the power connected up. Incidentally, the standard fuse that comes with this radio is a 2 amp 250 volt, to give you an idea of what that's going to be pulling. We are running out to a power meter, power and SWR meter, but we're more interested in power. And then the antenna side of this is dropping into a dummy load. So I expect the President radio, although they say that they're 4 watts, I usually expect them to be somewhere around 3.5. So let's take a look. So let's turn this on. We're on channel 20. So let's just have a quick look here and see what we're putting out in FM. Hopefully you can, let me see if I can get that a bit closer. So we're outputting about 3.17, 3.2 watts on the mid-band channel 20. So I'll just drop that down to channel 1. Oh, we have to turn that annoying beep off. I think you hold the F key. Oh, thank goodness for that. What a terrible noise. It's channel number 1. I'd expect it to be slightly higher here. 3.27 watts output. 3.27. And we might as well go to the 40 and see what we get up there, which I'd expect to be even lower. 3.12 watts. So not doing brilliantly on the power output. It's closer to a 3 watt than a 4 watt radio there, but that's in FM UK. So let's just mode switch it to 1 second. Let's go AM and let's just repeat that. So back to channel 20. See what we get on AM. AM is 3. Oh, it's all over the place. 3.37. 3.37 there on channel 20. Channel 40. Consistent. Channel 1. 3.4. So we're getting about 3 to 3.5 watts on this radio. But the next thing we're going to do is open it up, and there is a mod that you can do with this, which expands the radio to 120 channel from the multi-select. Well, let's do the multi-select first. So on this radio, what you do is you turn it off. You hold the F key and turn it on. And then this enables you can use the channel selector to select the different modes. So EU, Polish, and then U is for the UK, which you want. And then you just short press the F key to select that option, turn the radio off, and turn the radio back on again. And that's in UK mode. Now we can, let me just switch it back to FM UK. You can cut the wire inside and jump the jumper, which is the standard way of modding the radios, and it will then put it into 120 channel mode, which we haven't done yet. We need to open this up now. With all President radios, or with most of these radios, let me just remove it from the antenna. Turn that off. With most of these radios, you open them from the bottom. The speaker extends into the bottom cavity of the radio, so the circuit board I'm expecting to be at the top here, with not a great deal of access from the top and everything to be from the bottom. So I'm just going to open this up and we'll take a look inside. Okay, so to open the radio up, you simply remove the 2 screws either side, 2 screws here, 2 screws here from the bottom, and a single screw at the back, and then the lid will come off. You can see the speaker there. The cable is removable, but we don't need to remove that. Now I'm going to show, I've taken some photographs of the circuit board, and they will be displayed on the screen right now for you to take a look at. And you can see here, from the just in at the front of the radio here, there is the wire, the mod wire, and also the jumper. So what we'll do is we'll just snip that wire, if I can do this on camera. There we go. So we've just cut that wire to do the mod, and we need to switch the jumper. Now if you suffer from FF, which is fat fingers, and I don't necessarily have fat fingers, but it's this is pretty small, and I need to move this jumper. Also because I'm old, I need these now to be able to see. So let me just swap that jumper position over. Okay, so the jumper has gone from position 3.2 to 2.1. And the wire is cut. Now I will display on the screen the mod instructions from President themselves. I also have the service manual for this particular radio. It's not always easy to get the service manuals, but I do have it for the Harry 3, and that tells you this procedure to unlock the 120 channel mode. Okay, looking in the service manual, which is extremely helpful, so thank you very much, President, for producing the service manual. You can see on page 15 of the manual that it says RT402 is the adjustment for the wattage, and you need to connect a jack antenna, adjust RT402 to reach 4 watts on a watt meter. So I'll show it the photographs I took previously, because this is going to be a little bit fiddly to see. But RT402, if I can show, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I think it's probably easier to show it from the diagram. It's the second one in from the right. So in fact, without changing anything on FM, the wattage has increased by unlocking the radio to 5.8. Let's see if we can push that up a little bit. No, I can't get any more on that. RT402. I think we're at maximum adjustment there. So there's a bit of confusion over the pots that need adjusting, and it's very, very helpful having the service manual. So the pot on the right-hand side, furthest to the right of the set of 5, is RT402. The next one in is RT403, and then the next one in is RT401, very helpfully. So I'll show that on my screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remain quiet whilst I do this test. We'll just align the adjuster, and we'll power this, and you should be able to see increasing the power output. Okay, so that's increased the power output from 3.2 up to 4 watts using the RT402 pot. So next we'll switch from AM back to FM and see what that's done. So in FM mode we have currently 5.7 watts with the mod, with the wire cut and the jumper switched. I may just try and switch the jumper back to see if that was related to power. So the jumper that you set, you cut the wire and you set the jumper. So adjusting the jumper to the 3.2 position returns the power output back to normal. So if you want to keep the radio in its legal state, leave the jumper where it is, adjust the RT402 pot to get up to the allowable 4 watts. So the radio is currently in FM mode in EU. Let me switch it back to UK. U, F, that's set, turn it off, turn it back on. Right, so we're on channel 19, let's just switch to 20, mid-channel. So this is mid-channel FM, let me switch to FM UK. So I'm on FM UK, channel 20, mid-channel, and we're going to do the power test, redo the power test now that we've upped the power on the RT402. So 3.89 watts. So we may be able to just get a tiny bit more out of that. Okay, so FM on the adjustment of that pot up to 4 watts. Over to AM. Slightly higher at 4.2. But I don't see there's a great deal we can do about that. Now it does say here AM EU TX mode. RT401 and RT403 can be used to set the maximum modulation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to back off that pot ever so slightly. Back to FM. Back to FM UK. Let's get the light going again. I'm just going to back that off a bit. Switch to AM. Okay, so that's 4 watts AM on the nail. So we're at 4 watts, and if we switch back to FM, yeah, around 4 watts. So happy with that. So we've managed to increase that 3.2 watts up to the legal required 4. Swapping the jumper in the jumper position will mean that the FM will increase to 5.5 watts. But that's entirely up to you. So I think that's it. We're not going to do any more on that. Let me just check the deviation pot, and I'll tell you which one that is. So looking at the service manual, page 15, it does say for FM EU TX mode, RT303 for the Harry 3 ASC only, adjust RT303 to reach 1.2 kilohertz of deviation. So there we go, that's the adjustment and the adjustment pots. If you feel brave enough to increase your wattage slightly, and the mod. So we'll put it all back together and we'll jump back and we'll have a look at what the mod has done for the channel selections. The manual isn't extremely clear here, unfortunately, but if I can get this in view, you'll see that in expanded mode, if you switch the AM/FM button, it only switches from FM to AM. There's no FM UK mode, and in FM, if you push the F key, you switch here, if you can see that, from A, B and C, and then in each of those modes you have your 20 channels, which gives you your 120 spread across the 3. Now the manual doesn't tell me what frequencies these are, so we're going to stay on FM A, channel 1, and we're going to use my Malachite radio here. I've tuned it to 26965 as the frequency in FM, which is the channel 1 for EU, and we'll see what happens when we key that up. Testing. Okay, so we are on 26965. Yes, so there we are. We are on, so band A, channel 1 is the standard EU frequencies. So what I'm going to do now is pause, go to channel B and figure out where the starting point there is. And I'll be back in a moment. So in band B, channel 1 is 27415. 27415. So channel 2 would be 27425. So let's step on and work out where channel, or the channel selection block C starts. So we'll go to channel 1 and I'll find it and I'll come back and let you know. Okay, after a bit of digging, band C on the radio in expanded mode equates to 26515. 26515 there. And if we move the radio to channel 2, which is 26525, you can see that off to the right hand side. So 26515. So we now know what the radio bands are for A, B and C. It's not a great deal of help for me, so this radio will be switched back to having AM, FM, FM UK, and outputting a steady 4 watts. So hopefully that's been of some use to you. So I will put up on the screen what the bands are for A, B and C, so you know what they are. Right, something else that I've just found out is the radio itself. If we look in mode A FM, okay, it says 1 and what looks like TS on the right hand side. So if we key that up, we will see we are hitting 26965 as the frequency. Okay, that's perfect. And if we press and hold the lock key, which is the AM/FM button, for a few seconds, you'll see this switches to TO or T0. And that effectively outputs a -5 kilohertz in 120 channel mode. So if I key up now, you'll see that we're 5 kilohertz off of the 26965 frequency. So we can key in here 26.960. Okay, it's 960 megahertz, and then you'll see we're bang on a -5. Don't know why that's useful, but if you push and hold, switch back to TS, and then you'll be back to 965. Might be useful for someone, but just letting you know that that's how it works. So as I said, this radio is now being switched back because I like being able to switch between FM and FM UK with the 40 channels. But this may be of use to you, so at least you know how it works. Okay, the radio is now back to the original jumper position, FM UK channel 20. And you'll see from the friendly Malachite that it's 27791250. So that is FM UK. And we'll just switch back and check our wattage and check our power output on channel 20 FM. I can get that a bit closer to the camera. So 3.9495. Watts on FM. Let's switch to AM channel 20. Just a little over 4.1, just a tiny bit over. I think we might just tune that back a little bit. But that's it for the power test and the modding and the frequencies. Okay, we're going to have a very brief look now at some of the options that you have here on the radio. You only have the choice of one color of the display, and that is orange. You cannot change the display color from that. You have a lock button here. If you hold the AM FM switch, you'll see a little lock indicator appear, and then that will prevent you from changing your frequency. Push and hold to unlock, and that will enable you to then switch between those modes. You have a scan button. You've got the Roger beep. If you push that, that will turn on and off with a little symbol here, whether your Roger beep is enabled, and I strongly suggest that it should be, because Roger beeps are wonderful. If you push and hold Roger, it will go into scan mode, and that will scan through the 40 channels that you currently have. It will stop automatically on whatever channel it picks up a signal on, or you can just push the PTT button to break that and stop it. You have high cut filter. You can put that on, HIC, turn it off, and you can push and hold for noise blanker. Push and hold to turn that back on. Your Vox settings are here, and then you have your very annoying key beep and your F mode, which you'll use to set your UEU frequency by turning the radio off and holding F, turning it on, and then you can use the up down on the microphone, or you can use the channel selector to switch between those frequency bands. U is the one I want. Push and hold F, and then turn it off, turn it back on. So it's a lovely simple radio to use. Your RF gain is here, your channel selector is here, your automatic squelch control is here, and you can turn your squelch on and off. So it is really a very, very simple little radio, and once tweaked and pushing a nice 4 watts on AM and FM, you can't really go wrong with this one. What an excellent little radio the Harry is. It's worth every penny of the £159 asking price. Negatives. You can't change the screen colour. There is no echo mode, and everybody loves an echo mode. The power cable is fixed and not the usual 3-pin removable socket. A choice of Roger beeps would have been nice, and there's no USB socket on the front of the radio like the newer President radios. And it has the cheap feeling microphone, but most President models use the same microphone. Positives: it's small, dual power, it has a really fast scan function, covers all European frequency norms, has the President ASC mode, which is great for the automatic squelch control, physical channel selector, which is great, has no silly heatsink on the back, and has the muRata ceramic filter, and has low power draw at 0.3 amps on receive and 1.6 amps on transmit. Due to its size, this would be perfect for installing in a mobile home or camper, and has the quality versus price balance just about right. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you found the information in this video helpful. If you did, then please help the channel out and like the video. And it would make my day if you would subscribe to the channel. I am always happy to hear from you, as long as you're not a troll that lives under a smelly bridge. Let me know if you have one of these radios, your application of the radio, and your thoughts and experiences. Well, that's it. Until next time, take care and all the very best.